Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about the law of sine. So the law of sine is essentially sort of like a law or formula that we use in triangles, and it involves using sine, which is one of your trigonometric functions. So let's say that we have a simple triangle, doesn't have to be equal, and we have three angles. So this is angle A, this is angle B, and this is angle C. When you have three angles like this, what we're going to do is we're going to label the opposite side of that angle as the lowercase of that letter. So for example, this is uppercase B. So this side is opposite uppercase B. Therefore, this side will be labeled lowercase b. And this B represents the length of the side, whereas this B represents the size of the angle. So it's important to remember the difference between those two. Now, this is A. This is the side opposite to angle A, therefore this will be side A. So A, lowercase a, represents the length of this side. Okay, so now let's say we have angle C. This is the side that's opposite to angle C, therefore this will be lowercase c. And it's a bit hard to tell because C looks about the same uppercase and lowercase, but just know that lowercase c represents the length of the side. So what the law of sine states is that it's sort of like a ratio that you can use to solve for a missing value. So for example, it states that A over sine A is equal to B over sine B, which is equal to C over sine C. And if you can tell, essentially it's a ratio saying that the length of A divided by the sine of angle A is equal to the length of B divided by the sine of angle B. So using this ratio, we can essentially find for missing values. So let's say we don't know what C is, and we're asked to find the length of side C. But we know what B and angle B and length B is, and we know what angle C is. Now we can use this portion of the formula, and we can just do this. We can do B over sine B times sine of capital C equals lowercase c. So essentially we're just bringing the sine C to this side. So that's how we are going to solve for a certain missing value when using law of sines. Okay, so we know our formula for law of sines, which is written over here, and then we have our triangle to sort of represent angles A, B, and C and side lengths A, B, and C. So in our question, we're given that A equals 30 degrees, side length A, so lowercase a is 15 centimeters, B is 20 degrees, so the angle B, and then we're asked to find the length of side B, so what represents lowercase b. So we're going to substitute all of these values into our triangle and then try to solve this. So let's draw a really quick triangle, and let's label our values. So we know that angle A is 30 degrees, so this angle. We know that side length A is 15 centimeters. We know that angle B is 20 degrees. And we're asked to find what side length B is, so we're asked to find B. Now, we can just substitute our values into the law of sines. So we are going to be using this side of the law of sines because we know the values of A and capital A, and we know the value of capital B, and we're asked to find lowercase b. We don't have any mention of C, therefore we won't use that part of it. Now let's substitute our values. Lowercase a is 15, next is sine of 30 degrees because capital A is 30, and this equals lowercase b over sine of capital B, which is just 20 degrees. So that means B is equal to 15 over sine 30 degrees times sine of 20 degrees. So if you put these terms in the calculator and multiply them, you'll be able to find your value for B, and that will be your final answer. So this is our final question. We are given that C equals 20 degrees, side length C is 20 centimeters, side length A is 10 centimeters, and we don't know the value of the angle A. So now let's substitute all these values into our triangle. So if we just substitute these into our triangle, this is angle A, which we don't know the value of. Next, we know that side length C is equal to 20, therefore this side length is equal to 20. We know that angle C is also 20 degrees, so both C's are technically just 20. Next, we know that side length A is equal to 10, therefore we're going to put 10 over here. And that's all about we know. But if you think about it, that's enough. We're going to use this part and this part of the law of sines to find for the value of angle A. One important thing to note about the law of sines is that it's reversible. So if we have a over sine of a equals c over sine of c, this can also be written as sine of a over a, which is equal to sine of c over c. So we can sort of take the reciprocal of both fractions and be able to get the same answer at the end. So now let's use this version of our formula just because it will be easier, and I'll show you why. So we don't know the value of a, so we're just going to write sine of a. We know that lowercase a is equal to 10. We know that sine of c is just sine of 20 degrees, and then that is over 20 because side length c is just 20. Now if you can see, it's easier to rearrange. We know that sine of a equals sine of 20 degrees over 20 times 10. And that is a bit cluttered, but I'm just going to multiply that by 10. We can just move this to the side over here, and we just know that sine A is equal to this entire little calculation. That's how you're going to find sine A. But if you can recall, we're asked for what A is. We're not asked for what sine A is. So to find A, we're going to take the inverse. So it's going to be A equals sine inverse of 10 times sine of 20 degrees over 20. So if you can see, I just took the inverse to make A come on its own. So when we put this into our calculator, we're going to get the final value of A. Please feel free to comment down below any questions.